Brooklyn here. I've posted pictures of my new Kikki Sage planner on my Instagram, and I mentioned that I was using it as my tarot journal slash planner. And a few people asked me questions, and so I thought I would show you how I'm using it. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a professional tarot reader. I currently work for a company, but I'm in the process of creating my own tarot business. And so this is both for me to record my personal journaling and my personal travels with tarot, but also plan and record for my business and for all my tarot work. So with that said, I'm going to open her on up. I don't do a lot of decorating. This isn't going to be a pretty planner where you ooh and ah over all the gorgeousness. It's very functional. Here, I just have the Fool card from the Tarot of the Dragon by Terry Donaldson. This was gifted to me, just the card, this one card was gifted to me with a pagan wall hanging purchase that I got. And because this is all about my new journey into self-employment as a tarot reader, I thought that that was very appropriate. Here I have two, like some decks you get these spare cards, like this one has a spread on it. This one just has the information about the tarot. I don't keep these with my deck because they just get in the way. I tuck them in here because often when I'm reading a book or I'm out and about and I need a bookmark, I'll just grab those. And then finally, I have this little fox who holds some washi. Yet again, I don't do a lot of pretty planning. This is all the washi I need. I kind of picked ones that I really liked the colors of and just kind of felt right at that moment. And I just use them mostly for marking off sections in my planner, like or when I'm taking notes. Now, I don't have any planner inserts in here. This is all the inserts in here are the notes inserts that come with the Kikki. I haven't bought anything fancy. Sorry, that's a lie. There's one section that I've bought some inserts with, and I will go through that when we get there. So first things, when we get to here, this is the box from my most recent tarot purchase, the Lion Strider Tarot, and I'm absolutely in love with the artwork. I'm in love with the deck too. I really like it. I agree with those who say that there are some odd choices in the deck overall, but it really hits my soul, this deck does. And so I just kind of cut the box. This is the sides of the box, and that's already the height. So I just cut the sides of the box and then punch some holes and put it in there. See, there's nothing on the back. It's just the box. And yes, I don't keep my boxes, especially this size. The only boxes I keep are the hard boxes, like the ones that are like, this isn't a tarot deck, but this is a game that I pulled out, like this kind of hard box. But even then, I don't store my cards in them for two reasons. Often the boxes are designed to fit a deck and the larger companion book in them. And so the decks slide around and get bashed about inside the box. And with these ones here, I get rid of them because the boxes just get, I mean, after 2 or 3 years of opening and closing and opening and closing, they get all beaten up. They get all grody looking. I just get rid of them. I don't like keeping junk I'm not going to use around, so I flick them off. The other reason I don't use the boxes, either the hard boxes or the soft boxes for my tarot, is because creating a tarot bag, I make almost all of my tarot bags for my tarot, and creating the bag for each deck is part of my way of connecting with that deck and connecting with that tarot. I make the bag after I've flicked through the deck, after I've meditated with it, after I've really looked at the various different things and thought, what are my intentions with this deck? Is this going to be a client deck? Is this going to be a personal deck? Is this going to be a soul exploration deck? And then as I hand stitch the tarot bags, I stitch those intentions into it. And yeah, so that's the other reason. Yep. So the next thing is the first divider, which I also use as like a kind of dashboard. I don't use a lot of post-it notes or anything in here. I mostly just use this one. Favorite post-it notes. Can't find them anymore. They were from Target. They actually have pretty good stick for a lot of the Target post-it notes. And I love them. I love how simple they are. They're a nice size. The lines are a nice length. I can get quite a bit of information here, which is really good for me jotting down quick information. And you'll see where I use these later, where I often use these later. Just some, what are those? Those are magnetic bookmarks. And they're just ones I grabbed. And then a holographic sticker from a Happy Planner sticker kit. I love the holographics. Hollow all the time. All the hollow, all the time. And it just says dream, believe, do, repeat. And then we go right into my, so this first section is, it says general notes, and it's exactly that, it's notes. And right away we have a section, and this is, my first two sections are podcasts I listen to. If you're interested in tarot, these are both really amazing podcasts. The first one is Biddy Tarot. Hers is the one I end up, hers are like little mini courses. She has interviews, which are interesting, and they're really interesting hearing some of the famous people from the tarot community talk, but also she has a lot of mini courses, and so I just have the notes of those inside there, and then I use a magnetic clip to clip them together so that I can get to my next blank page when I need to. The next podcast is Tarot Visions. They often also have really interesting talks and stuff. I don't write as many notes from them because theirs is a much more personal aspect, whereas Biddy Tarot's I find is a much more tutorial. The next section is My First Tarot Course, which is a book that I've just picked up and reading. And while I'm very experienced in tarot, I always, whenever I see a new 101 book, I grab it. And in this case, I'm borrowing it from the library because every one of these 101 books has a different person's take on the tarot, and you learn different things. And the My First Tarot Course has some amazing exercises in it that I've really found are helping me connect that I haven't connected before. And yeah, and so and yet again, I clip notes together. There's 7 pages there of notes that are clipped together so I can get to my next page when I need to. The next divider is for The Secret Language of Tarot, another book I'm reading right now. Haven't actually started it, and yes, I read more than one book at a time. That's why I take notes, because I can bounce between them, because I'm taking notes. And then just a spare divider that I put in because it's there, and I'm sure I'm bound to start another book soon or find another podcast or something. And then this last one is readings done by others. So this is when I pay to have, or am offered sometimes for free or for exchange, a reading done for me by someone else. These are the notes. For example, this is a video reading by the wonderful Avalon Cameron. If you are interested in tarot at all, I highly recommend you go check her out. This reading had me crying. It was amazing. And I just wrote down notes while we had the reading, and I think I watched the video 2 or 3 times, writing the notes down, and I just have those there. Then that way, when I'm sitting here going, oh, that reading said something about something, I can go and flip through my notes instead of having to scrub through the video. Anyway, that's that section. The next section is my personal reading. So I call this my specific tarot journal. We have just kind of an intro page over here using the Midori, what is it? The Midori clear pockets that they have. I love these pockets. They're one of my favorite journaling things. It just holds this card that is a stencil for drawing out tarot cards. It makes it a lot easier than drawing wonky squares. Still a bit wonky because I'm not perfect. I think I'm going to actually try to do this on my silhouette. Transfer it in and do my silhouette because I think that would work really well. And then it'll be square. And what I did in this case is I just glued, this is a printer paper, and I glued it on the back of, this is Pop Fizz paper, the card, the info card, so it's quite stiff. And then on the front, to kind of make it stick even more, after gluing it together, I put some heavy gel medium to kind of almost laminate it. And the washi is just there because originally I punched holes in it so I could put it in my planner. Didn't like that, and so I covered the washi because I didn't want to see the holes. And so that just lives in there. And I'll show you what I use it for later. But yeah, and then I have my reader journal. I got this off Etsy. It's by a French woman whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce because my French is extremely rusty. And it's a really amazing little journal. It's a PDF, so you can print off as many of the pages as you want. I used a PDF editing tool to remove some pages and kind of break them into separate PDFs because that's how I work, so that if I just need some more daily draws printed, I can just print a bunch more of those pages, etc. And so, yeah, that's kind of how it is. I have some note paper here for if I need to take notes. I'll probably move that to a different section. Don't use it as much for this section. And like I said, this is all my personal readings about myself. These are just readings for me, by me, about me. The first section is my daily draw. I just have a little paper clip that I made really quickly, holding it so that when I flip it's to the page that is ready to go. And I love how simple this is. This is one of the things that made me fall. A lot of things made me fall in love with this printable. But the card of the day, I stopped doing cards of the day because I started overthinking them, and I was looking in 5 different books about different meanings and putting them all down, and writing them all down, and then writing what I thought, and then just all this kind of information I didn't need to know. And I love how this one cuts through. It just, where are we in the moon phase? What Sabbath are we at? So this is definitely very pagan focused. But what Sabbath are we in? So, for example, tomorrow is Beltane. Well, today's Monday, so tomorrow, Tuesday the 8th, is Beltane. Tomorrow morning. Then the day of the week, the month, the year, and the day. And then the deck that you're using, the card that you pulled, and then the message from the card. Not what's the meaning of the card, not your interpretation of the card, but what do you feel this card is telling you need to know today. And that's it. That's it. I think it creates a much more personal aspect because it's not asking for a lot of information. I don't pull my books out. I just go, boom, this is what I think. The next is monthly spreads. I've taken out any monthly spreads I've already done. And this one, yet again, it's very simple, just 2 pages. You've got the month, the year. If there's a Sabbath that's happening in the month, I would probably kind of do, like, let's say it's Beltane moving into Litha, so we're in December, I would tick both, or put like an arrow going from one to the other. Yeah, I think I like that idea. Arrow. Notes and observations. This could be notes and observations about the month, which is what I've used it about, like things that I know are coming up in the month. And then whatever spread. And I like that it doesn't have a dictated spread. This is the spread you use for the month, which is what some of the other planners or inserts that I have found have. It just has a section for you to use a spread. This is where that stencil comes in. You can sit there and stencil your things in. And then the interpretation of the spread. That's it. Next page is for the next month. Nothing more. Easy breezy. Next is other readings, and I've got some readings that I did before I bought this thing. But this one is 4 pages. So you have this page, this page and this page. Okay, ignore the mispunch there. I couldn't remember how. I just couldn't, I couldn't even, and I screwed everything up. So it has a little header here. I will often put my mood about the reading, other things going on in my life, just whatever. This is where I write out the question. And then it has tarot deck or oracle decks, and it has space to put a couple, which is good because some of the spreads I do use multiple decks, and I have 3 oracle decks going and 2 tarot decks all spread out, and yeah. The date, yet again, the moon phase, the Sabbath that you're in, observations. This is another place that I might write observations of what there's a lot of blue, in the spread. What does that say about what chakra needs to be dealt with, or what I need in my life? So the different colors can mean different things, kind of thing. Or my first viewing of this spread made me feel repulsed, or just observations that are going on with the spread, that kind of picking up what's going on, and I will refer to those when I'm doing other things. The next section is another section I love, that it's short and sweet, and it's just, what is the message? Just forget about all the in-depth, you need to do this and this. What if you boil this paragraph or this chapter that this spread is down to 3 sentences or less? What's it saying? Section for the spread, meaning of the cards. So what all the cards mean. Like I would just put down, let's say, put down the card and a few keywords, and this is what the book says. This isn't getting into your interpretation. And I think this is really built well for building you into being able to do those interpretations and stuff. Because then we have the next page, which breaks down the cards. So how many major arcana, how many minor arcana. Within the minor arcana, how many of them are pip cards, which are the numbered cards. How many of them are the court cards, the knight, the page, the queen, the king. And then how many suits of pentacles, swords, wands, cups, which is important to kind of, each of those have a general meaning. So if you're getting a lot of pentacles, it might be that you need to look at your work life or how you're spending your money or everything else, even though even if you're doing about a relationship, if I'm getting a lot of pentacles, it might mean work is getting in the way of the relationship, etc. So yeah, and then reversed analytics. For those of you who do reverses, you got the total of cards in the spread. So let's say there's 5 cards. You've got 2 reversed and 3 upright, 2/3. I hate doing percentages, but that's 66. I don't know. 2/3 is something percentage of the spread, and any majors are reversed. So let's say you have the Tower reversed, etc. And then you use all of that information, all of these 2.5 pages of information to put your interpretation together. And I think that that's what this is really good about teaching specifically. This teaches you how to put an interpretation together if you're not used to that. Because all of this stuff kind of boils down into this, and making things personal. So that's that section, okay? And then I have a bunch more of those printed, and that's it. That's all that's in there. The next section is, just before I get to the next section, this had some other things in it that I didn't use. For example, because it's also for a Lenormand, it had the Grand Tableau. I don't read Lenormand, so I didn't print any of that off. And I think that's the only section. Oh, and there were some note pages that I didn't print off that come in the end. And there was the top half of this was a reference of what all these mean. So what the moon phases mean, which of these is what Sabbath, but I can tell by the order that they go in, which Sabbath is what. It had that information. It had what these mean. I mean, that's a pentacles, that's a sword, that's a wand, that's a cups. So I didn't print that off. I mean, I printed that off, but I didn't use it because it was just one more thing here. And this is pretty full. The next section for me is spreads. I'm not a big spread person. I'm more of an intuitive reader, so I've been drawing out the spreads that I have. This is just some grid paper that I found, and I liked it because it was blank on the other side. So as I've been using spreads, I've been writing them down in here, drawing them out, put what they mean, where I got them from, so that I can reference them. It's important in case that there's ever legal action that comes up involving that. And then this is what I use those notes for. Eventually I will write my own notes about this, but while I'm still in the testing phase, each time I use the spread, or every couple times I use the spread, I write a little notes thing on, and I add more notes to the back as I need them. And so it's just got various different spreads. This one's one of my new favorites. It's based off of the movie Inside Out, and I got it from the Tarot Visions podcast. They didn't have... I changed it a little bit. I took the inspiration. They didn't have it drawn out, so I didn't know what it was. This is how I decided to do it, which is the ruling emotion and then putting the rest out in this grid, and making the ruling emotion always the first card you pull. I think they did it slightly different, and making it a cross so that they all kind of refer back to that ruling emotion. If you know about spreads and how to read spreads, that makes sense. If you don't know, then you don't. If you want to learn about spreads, Tarot Spreads by Barbara Moore will teach you everything. And so that's kind of how I designed that one. Another spread from Barbara Moore's book that I recently used. And like I said, notes on the back for when I use them. I haven't used this one enough yet to really write some notes about it. Next is my wish list section. And to start off any wish list, I have my inventory. So these are the decks I have. These are the oracle cards I have. These are the books I have. And then I put this little G here means that it is a guidebook. So that I know that, yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say already the noise in the background, that's my dog playing with his ball. I'm not going to stop him because he's having fun and entertaining himself. The next section, I've just used these Pop Fizz paper tabs, which I love. They were actually green. They're the first thing I put in, so I made them match. Probably shouldn't have, because then everything else would have felt like it fit in more if nothing matched. So these are the decks that I want. There's quite a few. I usually just put a line through them when I've bought them. Sometimes I'll put a squiggle line if I've decided I don't want it anymore, so I can kind of look back on it. I try to check in with these every once in a while because sometimes something I wanted a year ago no longer vibes with me. The next section is the oracles I want. There's a lot of them. Some of them, like this one, isn't an oracle. I should just scribble that out. Because I didn't buy it. It's just I got confused and that's not an oracle. It's Blue Angel's first tarot deck, and it confused me because Blue Angel only does oracle decks, and so I thought it was an oracle. I got really excited for a second because there's a dream, because there's the tarot by the same name, and they looked like they had the same imagery, and I thought, oh, are they a tarot and oracle deck that match? That's brilliant. I love that. No, it's not. So these are the oracle decks that I want. Yep. And then these are the books that I want, because I always want a lot of books. And some of these I've read already. I just want the hard copy. Or my own copy, I should say. Usually if I've read it, it means that I got it from the library. Some of them I do have virtual copies of also, and I want a hard copy still, so that's why it's here. And then this is my business section. So, yep, and I have some planning pages. I'm rehauling my website, which is crap to begin with. So, and I've got an event coming up, so I'm trying to get everything ready for that. My ideas, so this is just ideas. Promotion plans, like how I'm going to promote the website and things that I need to do. This next section, let me make sure I'm not showing anything, is my clients section. And so this is just either notes from when I meet with them, notes about their reading, if when it comes from online, for example, if they've bought a reading from me, this is where I'm going to transfer everything from the computer, because I don't do my readings near my computer, and be able to go, this is what this is all the information they've given, this is the question, these are how I'm feeling, etc. This is, and write down the decks that I think I'm going to use, etc. And then the last section is my client log, which is for my current work. I keep a log of every client that I talk to and how long I talk to them and their general query. No personal information besides their name. And that's just so that when I get paid, I can make sure I've gotten paid for everyone. And it's just also good for me to remember my clients, so that when I get repeat clients, I know why I can kind of be like, oh, you're calling about your husband. How did that go since we last talked? What has happened? That kind of thing. And then just the back. I don't have anything here. Just have a lot of fur and stuff. And then just my favorite pen, which is the Papermate Inkjoy Gel. Yeah. This is the 0.5, but I have the 0.7 too. 0.7 also, I should say. And I really like them. They're not waterproof like most gel pens, though, which irks me a little bit. But, yeah. This is my second one I've gone through since I discovered them from Danny. I bought the original Inkjoys, and I had heard everyone going on about them, and I was like, these aren't that great. And then Danny sent me one of the gels in one of the Pop Fizz Paper Planner kits, I think it was. And I was in love. So that's my planner and how I use it. Thank you for joining me on my flip through. I hope that this was useful or enjoyable for people. And if you have any questions, leave them below. I'll leave links to various things below. My tarot Instagram, where I got the insert from, possibly my website, depending on what a mess it is. So, yep. That's everything. Have a nice day. Bye.